I have a very special guest today. It's Reece Lynch. He's not from Ukraine, he's from Great Britain. He came here from a prosperous, quiet, and peaceful country. He came to Ukraine, which is at war now, and he came to Mariupol, which is very close to the front line, actually 15 or 20 kilometers from the front line. Reece is a journalist and a certified filmmaker. His first intention here was to make a film about the war, but when he took the breath of our polluted, dirty air, he changed his plans and he made a documentary, or ecology documentary, about the ecological catastrophe in Mariupol. Now his documentary is ready and it is uploaded on the internet. And now I have a unique chance to talk to Reece in person.
Hey.
Hi. So Reece, my first question. Is Ukraine still a headliner in the world press and in the British press?
I wouldn't say it's gone quiet completely, but it's not prominent news, really. So it's not as much news as there was in 2014, 2015, and it's only when something significant happens, like the Kerch Strait incident, that's when it comes back into the news. But it's not in the forefront of people's minds, actually.
I see. And are British people really interested in what is currently happening here?
I think. Sorry. Yeah.
Are they far away from this thing?
I think some people are interested. I get a lot of my audience from my YouTube channel from Britain. People want to know what's going on, but they want to see it in English, so then there's not a big opportunity for that. Because obviously this is covered in the Ukrainian press, but it's in Ukrainian or Russian. So I think if they're provided with videos and newspaper articles in English, there is interest for it there, definitely.
Okay. And what made you come here? What is your motivation?
I was just kind of interested in Ukraine, and I think it's a very important part of the world right now. It's kind of the last gateway between Russia and Europe, and obviously this whole war is going on because of it. And I realised we were hearing less and less of it in the news, and I wanted to kind of keep it fresh in people's memory. And I wanted to find out some information for myself, because I didn't know a lot about it. I've obviously done what research I could, but there was not much current information coming. So it was more curiosity and then a desire to share this information that I would learn.
And personal interest as well.
Exactly, yeah.
So many people take part in your documentary. How did you get to know these eco-activists and other people in Mariupol?
Well, the first person I met, he offered to do a translation for me on something, and then we just started to talk about the ecology, and he turned out to be an activist, and then he introduced me to someone who introduced me, and it just goes like that. And I found people were really interested and they wanted the chance to talk, because it's not often someone comes to make a documentary about it. So it was actually very easy. I was flooded with offers that people wanted to be in it, and I actually had no problem finding the people at all.
And so they agreed easily to be interviewed?
Very easily, yeah, because they each had a specific story to tell or some examples. I think the hardest thing was cutting down on who we would actually select, because we could have made it a lot longer, but obviously you need to keep it interesting. So then we just tried to get as big a variety as possible of people, people who are on the city council, people who are interested in the water, people who are interested in the future. So we just tried to make it a broad range. But it was really, everyone was very eager to do an interview.
And what is your target audience?
It's ideally, I'd like it to be Americans, British people, and Ukrainians. That's why with all of our films, we try and speak half of it in English, half of it in Ukrainian or Russian, and then it will have Russian and English subtitles over the bits that are in the opposite language, because I like to make films that can be viewed internationally and nationally here, just to try and create a bit of a bridge, if you will, a bit of a connection between it. So that's the idea behind it. So I would say, national and international.
And were you surprised that so many people in Ukraine can speak English?
Yes, actually. I find most people can speak good English. It's the confidence level that lets people down. And I know people who say they can't speak English, and then once you become friendly with them, it turns out they can speak it and understand it very well. They just don't have the they're embarrassed by their accent or something, which I find the very opposite of British people, because we can just learn one word and we're very proud of the fact that we've learned one word, and they can speak a language brilliantly and they're ashamed by that because they don't think it's perfect. So yeah, there's a lot of English speakers here. It's been a lot easier than I thought it would be.
Okay. So now when your documentary has over 50,000 views, do you think that your film got world recognition? Is it a success?
I consider it a success because it's 50,000 more people who would know about this problem now. And from the statistics, I can tell about half of these views came from international, from America, from Canada, from the UK, from Germany. So it's, for me, that's important because it's putting it on the world stage, if you will. And then obviously all the rest of the 25,000 haven't just come from Mariupol, but all over Ukraine, especially Kiev and West Ukraine. So I feel happy with that. And obviously the numbers still going up and up. So hopefully in a week it'll be 100,000 and we will see.
So can we say that now, after your documentary, Mariupol stopped to be an obscure place?
It's less obscure. I would still probably, if you were to ask the common person in the West where it was, I don't think they could easily tell you. But it's having its moment, well, hopefully, and I think it's becoming less and less obscure. But this is going to be a longer process than just one documentary. It's going to need a few years, and a lot of time and work for it to be considered an important place, I guess.
Okay, and as far as I know, one of your missions or goal was to raise awareness of people of what is happening here.
Yeah.
Do you think that you have reached this goal?
No, because it's an endless goal. This is a goal that will always be, I will never be satisfied. Okay. And it's not just people we need to make aware of this, it's the right people.
Right people and right organization,
exactly.
International organization.
Because we have this problem, somewhere up there, someone who can help. We just need to make this connection.
Okay. So yesterday, I personally, as an English-speaking club leader, arranged the first public screening of this documentary. Many people shared the link, many people put their likes, and finally came to attend the meeting. And after the screening, there was a heated discussion, and many people came up with their ideas and suggestions. And these suggestions varied considerably, from closing down the plants and factories to changing legislative regulations. But the point is that many people, these people are the same people who attend protest meetings, discussions, debate programs, and the ecology issue has been discussed over and over again. And many think that these discussions are not effective. And what is your attitude? Do you think it's just the first step to handle this problem, or is it also ineffective?
I wouldn't say ineffective, it's just more enclosed. Because during the 6 months of making this documentary, I attended a few such meetings to get a scope of what the organisation was about. And I found the biggest problem was everyone's got good ideas, everyone's very passionate, very, very passionate, even angry to see some change. But they direct all of this energy in the wrong direction, and they seem to be arguing with each other, and there needs to be a time where they will come together. But at the moment it's just it's a lot of squabbling, and you saw how it was yesterday.
Yeah. Many people really got angry and raised their voices, and it was difficult to stop them.
Yes. Yes, right. But that's good. It means there's anger and there's real emotion there. It's a good thing that this is there. They're just pointing it at the people who are trying to help them instead of the people who are harming them.
And now a couple of questions about technical side of your documentary. Okay. As far as I know, you were filming from your own drone.
Mm-hmm.
Did you need a permission? Was it difficult to realize it?
No, it's easy. It's my own drone, and as long as I stay within, the Ukraine has a drone safety law. You know, do not go over a certain height. Do not.
So some areas are restricted.
Yes, yeah. So as long as I stuck by that, which I did, and because I didn't actually cross into the factory itself, you know, I have a good zoom on the drone, so I was able just to stay up in the sky in public property and film from afar. So it was no problem really. And I think it was useful because it got some really good shots of the scope of these factories.
Okay, and one more thing, this documentary is a self-funded thing, and Reece put a lot of his time, energy and emotions into making this documentary, and what's more important, his own money and savings. And now unfortunately he has been running out of his savings. What are the ways to help you in this aspect?
Well, as embarrassing as it is, I have opened up just a link at the bottom of all my YouTube videos, just if people enjoy our documentaries, because it's not just the ecology, there's other documentaries, and I just, if they're able to ask for donations to keep us here, to keep it happening. But you know, it's up to the individual person if they're able to do that, or if they enjoyed it.
Okay. And so, what other documentaries are upcoming in the near future?
So the next one we're focusing on is about the refugees, because obviously, like you mentioned, we're very close to the front line here, and there's in Mariupol and the surrounding areas, there's a lot of refugees that have, you know, had to leave their homes because of this. And I want
we generally call them internally displaced people.
Exactly. So yeah, I want to focus on that. We've got some really good interviews coming up. And then also we still go to the front line weekly. We see the people, we best talk to the soldiers, get a scope of what's going on, and we try and do a weekly update as well of what's been happening in the previous week, how what's been happening in the war, what the casualties are, what the movement is. So it's basically just trying to keep raising this awareness and attention on this conflict and the fallout from that. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. You're joining us for our first weekly update video as part of a new series which will see a short video coming out at the start of every week, bringing you a brief weekly roundup on the recent events of this war.
After half a year here, do you feel negative about some things which are happening here, about maybe people's behavior or something? Which do you appreciate most here? In terms of people, their manners, way of life and everything.
I think that what I appreciate most is the people. They've made me feel very welcome, they've been very friendly. I've really struggled to get out of people's kitchens when I first got here because they kept wanting to bring me home and to feed me, and I put on quite a bit of weight, almost 10 kilograms since I got here, because everybody wants to make me full and fat. So that's been nice, and especially the young people. They're so... I can't explain it. I notice a big difference between the young and the old here. And the young, they're just like youngsters I would see in London. They just remind me of me when I was young. They're just, you know, they're just one and the same. And they're so fun and they're so energetic. And in Mariupol, there's so many of them as well.
Are there anything that really disappointed you here? Or what things do you appreciate least here?
Aside from the ecology and the roads, of course. But some of the... I guess some of the people are very quick to anger, and this is, it's not that I don't appreciate it, it just surprises me. People seem to get angry. Not a lot of people, this is such a small amount.
Okay, Reece, thank you for this interview.
No problem.
I wish you good luck.
Thank you for having me.
I dare say that we all here, residents of Mariupol, appreciate your documentary and what you have done here. And of course, we are looking forward to your new documentaries.
Thank you, pleasure.